Hello, everybody. We made it here again, another weekly team call. Happy Tuesday night. And I was just saying before we push that record button, how wonderful it has been to be doing Monday through Thursday product calls on my team. You guys, we have done them faithfully since the beginning of July. I could cry over the faithfulness of our leaders. We've had golds leading them. We've had just all sorts of people stepping in, stepping up, sharing their stories. On Fridays, as you know, we also have an opportunity call. And I'm thinking we need to add more opportunity calls. I'm like, why are we doing just like 4 product calls and only 1 opportunity call? Maybe it should be backwards. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do in September, but we'll keep you posted. Tonight, I am so excited about this. You guys, I do not know why, and Brenda probably has no idea either, why we have not had Jaime Haskin, like the precious diamond Jaime Haskin, who like in my team chat, and I was talking to somebody else today. They were like, "Oh, I love Jaime Haskin." We all love Jaime. And she was given the One Plexus Award at convention last year, you guys, for a reason. She is a precious soul. And I have a feeling she just makes everybody feel like you are just dear to her and a precious friend. That's how I've always felt around her. When I see her, I'm just like, oh, Jaime, I love you. So we're going to hear from her today, you guys. She is an incredible trainer and she is encouraging and she will inspire you. And she'll also normally she'll give you a little swift kick where you need it, which is what we are all here for tonight. But first, Brenda has a giveaway, a prize for somebody here.
Well, we won't be giving it away tonight. I just wanted to give you guys the heads up. Remember, when you show up with your camera on, you get recorded on a list. And then we will draw names for those who showed up the most, best attendance with your camera on at the end of the month. In fact, we'll probably not announce this one until September 3 because I can't be on the last one in August. So I wanted to just give you guys a heads up what it is so you guys can look forward to it and like, show up for it. So what I'm going to do is a 6-month subscription for our winner for a special Facebook group that has the bestest lovely graphics. So Diamond Andrea Derrick has put together, and I've been subscribed to it for a while. She's just amazing with graphics and stories and all the things, but it's a subscription for her hard work. And I want to do that as a gift for someone next month. So show up to go up.
With your cameras. Own, baby. Own, baby, own. Okay. Jaime, will you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and then bring it. Thank you, friend.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's an honor. I really appreciate it. It's fun to be here and I'm excited to talk to you all. So I'm from Michigan. I've been with Plexus for, oh goodness, 8 years? Yeah, 8 years. I have 3 kids. My husband is in law enforcement and a Black Hawk pilot for the Army. I was a stay-at-home mom prior to this. Prior to that, prior to having kids, I was in social work. So this community is such a blessing for me, and it's helped me grow in crazy, crazy ways, which I'll kind of touch a little bit on today probably too. But I'm going to just dive right in because I'm going to try and keep it to the time here. So I am going to be talking to you guys about goal setting today, and I'm really excited about this topic because I don't know where you are at personally. Maybe some of you are new, maybe you've been with us for a while, maybe you have some small getting started goals and you're doing this a little bit, and maybe you have massive vision and you want this legacy business. So either way, this is going to be great for you. Either way, you're always welcome and a part of this team. And I'm sure that I know this is just a One Plexus thing with that, but I am also going to be really honing in, talking to some of you legacy business people here as well. So for me, I couldn't necessarily grasp the big picture per se at the very beginning. But I had a phone call with my upline and they had the big picture, they had the vision, and they said, we are going to the top and you can come with us. And they believed in me. So I just want to, you guys can't hear that enough. And I want to tell that to you guys because We believe in you. And I needed to hear that from someone for me to really get it and to go. So I don't think I would have gone and done this without that. So I want you to hear that. And I want you to hear that a lot. So goal setting, what is goal setting? It is an important tool, and it's a way to work intentionally and on purpose for your business. What it is not, it does not define your value, and the results do not define your level of success. And I'll talk more about that later. So before we get into specifics on goal setting, I want to identify some misaligned goals. If you guys have been doing this for a little bit, maybe you are honest with yourself and actually ask yourself some questions, you might find that maybe some goals have been misaligned. Maybe there have been some struggles in setting goals. And why is that? Sometimes it could be, maybe you've set the goals, but not identified the action steps that are needed to actually reach those goals. Maybe they're great goals, but maybe the activity is small or inconsistent, so it's not getting you to where you want to go. Maybe you aren't fully committed yet. You don't really know what you want out of this yet. You don't really know where you're going or why this could really benefit you. And therefore, maybe there's some lack of belief, and you're setting goals, but just going through the motions. And maybe you set goals and you identify some activity, but you're working in a way that's just crossing the boxes and you're just going through the motions. Maybe you avoid setting them altogether because there's a fear there. Maybe there's a fear of failure. So why is this important? If these things are wishy-washy, if these things are not consistent and they're not lining up, then your business is going to be wishy-washy. Your business is going to be inconsistent, and that's not going to line up to where you want to go. So if this is the case, when life gets tough, when your plate gets full, what is going to be the first thing to go? You guys probably know, right? This is probably going to be that first thing to get pushed off till tomorrow. Why would it be a priority, right? It kind of just makes sense then. So let's fix that. And we're going to dive into that a little bit more. And when you come from a place of knowing where you want to go, knowing your why and aligning your goals with that, then you can work for a purpose on purpose. And then this can be a priority. Then it makes sense to choose to make this a priority. So not going to go too much more into the why. You guys, I'm sure, other calls on that. So we're going to go right into the goal setting. 3 steps I want to mention. 1 is identify what you want. And this will touch on that a little bit. What is your vision? That's connected to your why as well, right? And that can be hard for some people, but it really is as simple as, what do you want out of this? Where do you want to go? And that could be something like not worrying and needing to check the bank account before getting groceries. It could be being able to purchase plane tickets for your whole family to go on vacation and not stressing about how to pay for that. It could be having an income source to fund other passions or make home improvements or buy land, whatever that is. It's the freedom to say more time, or to say yes more and have more time and have more options. And it's fulfillment in helping others and making an impact. So wherever you fall in that, for me, like I said, I had a hard time kind of grasping that big picture, but it started off small and it grew. It started off with wanting just to get my product costs covered and have a little extra money for Christian education. It grew to needing some part-time income so that I could stay home and continue to stay home with my kids because financially just numbers weren't adding up. And then it grew from there, right? So don't be afraid to lean in. The best thing through this is it's allowed me to dream bigger. So I dare you to dream big. Dream big. Just put it out there. We have a big God, you guys. We have a very big God. So don't limit him. He can, and he will do big things through you. So number 2 is identify your goals. What are your goals? What are your big goals that are going to get you to where you want to go? Break those then down into the smaller bite-sized goals, right? And then you can go down to monthly goals. There are realistic goals that need to just make sense, right? And then there are the bigger goals. There's the BHAGs, if you've heard that before, the big, hairy, audacious goal. So I think that there is a place for both of them. You want the goals that are within reach. But you also don't want to play it safe and sell yourself short, right? So do both. Maybe ask your upline and they can have the ability to call out what they see in you and what you're capable of. At the beginning of each month, always assess where are you currently at and evaluate the previous month. Questions to ask. What went well last month? What is an area I could improve on from last month? Did I reach my goal? Why or why not? Was I consistent? Did my activity match my desired destination? What progress do I want to make this month? Be it a rank up, point growth. Then number 3 is identify your activities. So questions to ask yourself again. I like questions. Questions to ask yourself. What activities do I need to do consistently to reach that goal? If I set a smaller goal or a similar, goal to last month, say whether it's a rank up and I didn't make it, or whether it's point growth or developing silvers, and I'm setting similar goals every single month, but I am repeatedly not reaching them, then this is very important. I need to ask, what am I going to do differently this month? Can't keep setting the same goals and missing them all the time without reflecting and thinking, what do I need to do differently? What skill set do I need to grow in? And oftentimes, you guys, this is going to require you to get out of your comfort zone. Stretch yourself, do the things that you don't necessarily feel good at, and do them before you are ready. Because this is how we grow. Ask me how I know. I know. Everything that I did with this business, from those first messages and posting, that was terrifying for me. I was probably the last person to think that you could do this, that I could do this business, to leading my first call, to coaching calls and coaching people, things that I thought I was not good at, I was terrible at, I had big insecurities with, I did not want to do. My first call was really funny because I've looked back and watched it since. And I tell you, I don't think I smiled, and I think I was very monotone. But if I just sat back and said, well, this is not my wheelhouse, other people can do it better than me, or, said this is not my strength zone, then I would not be where I am now. I would not find those strengths that I now love and lean into. So work within your strengths. That's great. But I think that can also be used as a crutch to stay safe. So I just want to warn you guys on that. You're not supposed to stay safe in that way. Michelangelo's success came from incredible intentionality to grow in a skill set. And it was even said, this is in the book, 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dan Sullivan, but it's even said that he was not born a great artist. And he said specifically that Michelangelo continued to take on projects far beyond and impossibly beyond his skill level. That is how he got to where he went. It's not because he already had the skill set or he was already good at it or it was his strength area per se. It's because he went impossibly beyond. So that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. We all need to be continually growing in our skill level, and none of us has ever arrived. Even, me, Bridget, Brenda, we have not arrived, right? So for me, what I had to do is I had to do it when I wasn't ready. I had to do it when I didn't feel confident. I had to do it when I felt like others could do it better than me. So lean in, show up, do that live, run that event, message the dream teamer, make the video, engage in the chats, comment here during the calls, be a part of the community, coach your team, whatever it is, lean in, and don't sit on the sidelines because you think that other people can do it better than you. I've had those thoughts, but I didn't listen to them. I did it anyway. Show that visible leadership. It's going to grow you, and it's going to grow your team, and it's going to help you reach your goals. And this is what we need to do to grow into the person that we want to become in order to keep hitting those goals and to go where we want to go, right? We have to grow into that person. So now that we've talked about those 3 steps of goal setting, it comes down to following through, right? Nothing matters unless you follow through. So tell me, who is the hardest person to lead? You guys know? Yeah, ourselves, right? We are our hardest person to lead. So it is, yeah. Anyway, I'll move on. So Dan Sullivan also in the book 10x is easier than 2x here. He talks about psychological flexibility. And that just simply means it's the ability to respond to obstacles successfully and in a way that is congruent with personal standards. So that means that you are moving towards the goals that you set for yourself, even when it's emotionally difficult, even when things are hard, even when outside circumstances have changed. You are going to show up in a way that is congruent with your personal standards. And yes, emotions are real. And yes, life happens. I get it. I'm not saying that that's not real. But your emotions do not define you, and they do not control you. They don't get to decide what actions you take or do not take. So lead yourself well. And then I'll take it another step deeper. When we lead ourselves well, when it comes to our goals and when it comes to our personal standards, it helps us to get to where we want to go, right? But it's also way bigger than just you. When you realize that part of your vision, and really the only way to be successful in life is to bring others along with you. That is what matters, to help them succeed. And when you're able to do this more than just for yourself and you're doing it for other people, then you shift that whole focus from me to we. And that right there is when you've just elevated up to level 2 leader, which is permission level. If you're familiar with the 5 levels of leadership by John Maxwell, if you are not, that is a must read. But that is you should be working through levels of leadership. And that is what that is about right there. And you need all the levels in order to move up and to grow. So John Maxwell says, the prevalent attitude is one of serving others and bringing out the best in people they work with. Why is that important? Because when you operate in that way as a level 2 leader and you're showing up for other people, and you have that prevalent attitude of serving others and bringing out the best in them, you are going to show up when it's hard. You're going to show up when you don't feel like it. You're going to show up when you'd rather be doing something else, because it's not just about you. It's about other people. So that is why we show up. So evaluate yourself in 2 ways. Intentions and actions. There's 2 different things there. Intentions are just a wish. It's an idea that you mean to carry out. An action is something that is actually done, completed, or performed. So when we identify the activity that we need to do to reach our goals, often that's in the form of our IPA, our income producing activity. When we identify that, that becomes an intention. You can have all the good intentions in the world, but it only becomes action when we follow through and complete it. So when you complete the work, then it becomes action. So evaluate, ask yourself, again, questions. How did you do with your activity last month? How about the last 3 months or the 3 months before that? How would you rate yourself? Would it be high with intention or with action? And then if you were more on the intention and kind of fell off the action, didn't quite follow through, my next question is, why didn't you follow through? Gotta answer that question, because when we have awareness, then we can bring change. So ask yourselves the hard questions, and then ask your team the hard questions too. So what happens when we fail? I want to talk about this for just a little bit because it's important. It has to be brought up because I think it can hold a lot of us back, and it's going to come into play when it comes to goal setting. For some people, it might light you up. Maybe it's like, you know what, I'm going to get it next time, and you lean in even harder, and that's great. But for others, and I think a lot of people, it can make us shrink or pull back or play small or freeze or maybe even avoid everything altogether. And why is that? It's because we make the mistake of attaching failure to our worth. thinking that it defines us in some way, thinking that it matters based on whether we're successful or not. And you know what? It kind of does define us, but not in the way that you think. Successful people are where they are and they are who they are because they have failed, and they failed a lot. Failure is just part of our success. So really the big need here is to redefine failure. Failures and disappointments do not determine an outcome, but our response and perception of said failures absolutely can. So failure is not finite unless you decide it is. It's your choice. So what are you defining as failure and success? Success is if you think it's only like when you hit a goal or if you have a specific win, then we're kind of missing the picture. Failures are the opportunities to learn and grow, and it's not something to avoid or shy away from. And when you believe this, when you know this, then you're not going to hold yourself back. Then you're going to operate in a totally different way. Success is I went and I did something and it didn't turn out the way I imagined, but I succeeded through it because I learned something. I was brave. I evaluated. What did I learn? What went well? What can I do differently next time? Fear and success are married together. So, mindset check. Did you set a goal and you miss it ever at one point in your life? I'm guessing you have, right? Maybe you've fallen off the wagon. Maybe you didn't meet the standard that you set for yourself. If you are thinking, well, this is just not for me, or I can never get this, or I'm just not good at this, I can't, whatever is you're saying in your mind, that is where we need to tell ourselves something different, right? What we are telling ourselves in our mind is going to affect how we follow through interactions from there. How you perceive what just happened matters, and how you feel about it, and then what you're going to do about it. So you're going to change that. You're going to redefine failure, and you're going to use it to help you win and to help you improve. My friend is in the corporate world, and he told me this a while back, and I had written it down because I thought it was pretty applicable in some different ways to look at this. So he visited Procter & Gamble, and they own 25 different billion-dollar companies. So he is there, and this is like Tide, Gillette, Dove, Downy, Cascade, like all those companies. And on this wall, they have something called the Hall of Fame for Failures. Hall of Fame for Failures. And the reason is because they value what this means. And so they have different things that he highlighted. There's a formula for Tide that failed over and over and over again for different reasons, whether it be, the water in Argentina was different than the US, and so it dissolved differently. And Gillette blades moved from one blade to multiple, but it didn't take off, and Bic beat them to it, right? So why did they have this wall? They believed it's important to be okay with failure and even to celebrate it. Because if you're going to succeed, you need to fail. And if you're not comfortable with failing, you are not going to be successful. If you're not comfortable with failing, you're not going to be successful. So when we redefine failure, it changes everything. Winston Churchill said, success is all about going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. So when you redefine failure, we can keep our enthusiasm. And really redefining failure means that we can see failure as feedback. Failure is feedback. So identify, what are your missed shots? What are your disappointments? What are your failures? Or maybe it's a fear or failure that hasn't happened yet. Identify it. And then you're going to ask yourself, what is the feedback? Take the time to reflect and ask yourself questions. What did I learn? How did I grow from that? Or what can I learn? How can I grow from this? How could have I said this differently? How were my habits? Were they good habits? Were they bad habits? What did I lean into? What did I avoid? Another Procter & Gamble example, they were in Brazil, and they were trying to sell these razors in Brazil, and it just was not working. They couldn't figure it out. Why couldn't they get people? They wanted to do a survey. People weren't filling out the survey. So this person went to Brazil and they went and lived in this home with this man from Brazil to observe how they shave, right? Because it's about razors. And he was counting how many strokes he was doing to shave. He lost count after 400 strokes that this man was doing when he was shaving. He asked himself why. Why in the world is he taking so long to shave? In their culture, facial hair meant you were lower class or you were not disciplined, and it prevented you from getting hired. So your face is your business card. And this became their campaign. It changed how they spoke. Get a closer shave in fewer strokes because your face is your business card. It spoke their language. Now they're listening. Now it mattered, right? So again, failure's feedback, right? They leaned in, they looked for the feedback. So when you go to start another week and, for example, you're breaking promises to yourself with activity or consistency, ask yourself, what are you doing well, not well? What are your non-negotiables? Create those new habits. Read or listen to podcasts on discipline and habits. Pay attention, be curious, ask questions. Don't stay on the hamster wheel and just keep going through the motions, right? We have to lean in and we have to use every opportunity to marry that failure with feedback. And when we have failed attempts to create and succeed is just a part of history, right? So how you move forward matters. Maybe you're like Michael Jordan and you need to keep putting the practice in. Maybe you're like J.K. Rowling, who did Harry Potter and who was rejected 12 times by different publishing companies until a very small one accepted and only published 1,000 copies. You know that she had to speak just as passionately at every single one that she was at. Her passion did not dwindle. Otherwise, she would not have gotten that deal in the end, right? So hone in on the skill set that you need to work on. I'm almost done. Failure is life's greatest teacher. So it builds our character. It humbles us. Choose to not hide behind the setbacks and see them for what they really are. It is your vehicle for success. So in closing, I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture yourself 1 year from now. You're a different person. You've learned more. You've become more resilient. You've set goals and followed through on your actions consistently. You chose action over intention. You've done the things that scared you. You've pushed past fears. You did things out of your comfort zone. You brought in new leaders, and they're now doing what you are doing. Your belief has grown. Your vision is expanding. Your vision is growing because you are no longer limiting yourself. You're no longer limiting what God can do through you and what he will do through you. You've seen failure, you've seen mistakes, you've seen setbacks, and it fired you up. You learned from them. You succeeded because of them. You can open your eyes. So this person, I got more questions for you, so be ready here. This person that you see 1 year from now, what is that person? You're in that year from now, right? So think about that person. What is that person doing tomorrow? What is that person doing the next day, next week, next month? What goals is that person setting? How are you following through? How are you showing up? With excitement? Are you getting the most out of each moment? What is this person not avoiding anymore? What is a person getting uncomfortable doing? This person is not giving up on himself or herself, right? You're not shrinking back. You're not choosing comfort over discomfort. What are you reflecting and learning? Whatever it is, write it down, take the time to journal about it because these are your commitments to yourself. It is your personal standard, and choose to set those goals and follow through. Take each moment of failure, of wins, of setbacks, of mistakes, or otherwise, and use each one for feedback. And it's going to propel you forward as you succeed in all of those moments and through all of those moments. And that is where success lies. Thanks, guys.
Well, I am teary girl over here because first of all, I don't know how anybody can talk about failure for that long and make me so happy and so hopeful. Did you guys feel that way too? Oh, my goodness. I want to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And I know you guys feel this way about your people too, but we want that to happen on our teams. We want to see you guys stepping out of your comfort zones and trying new things, and sometimes probably falling on your faces, and we'll be right next to you like, and help you back up, and then we'll do it again. Jaime, that was just so strengthening to me personally. I just want to personally say thank you so much for the time and prep work that you put through this. And I have a feeling we have a lot of people feeling the same way. Brenda?
Yes, agree. I was just like, amen, amen over here. And you stepped on my toes too, Jaime. Here's the thing about Jaime. She practices what she preaches. She has walked this walk, and that's why she can sit here and share what she shared, because she knows exactly what it's like. So
Yeah.
I want to just say my summary that I got out of this is basically every month should have wins and failures. I'm like, that just kind of boop. At the end of the month, you should have wins. Yes, we all want wins, but it's okay to have the failures. In fact, you should have them to grow yourself in all the ways that she talked about. And I want to just leave something with you guys, because I just heard this quote this morning. I mean, I'm not even probably saying it the way I heard it. I forgot to save it. But this person challenged me, when you listen to a training, podcast, etc., where it's something that you listen to for the purpose of getting something out of it for your life, and you walk away and you do not apply at least one thing, you know what you were there for? Just to be entertained. So are you here tonight to be entertained, or are you going to do you have a takeaway you are going to take with you, follow through, and apply? It was gold. Thank you, Jaime.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be with you guys tonight.
You guys, you can unmute yourselves and say thank you to Jaime. We all want to be going beyond like Michael Angelo. Goodness gracious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was so
Thank
good.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jaime.
Thank you.
You guys,
Thank you.
You guys are so sweet. You're such an awesome group.
The best.
have a great night, everybody. Take some
Thank
time.
you.
Look over your goals. Go to your sponsors. Make some coaching call meetings. Let's do it. Good night.
Good night.